All right, this is Kevin Helm. My third interview. I'm here with Drew Heinen. Drew, do you want to say what you do?
Yeah, my name's Drew. I am an area manager at Amazon at the new fulfillment center that was just opened up a couple months ago. I graduated from the University of Oklahoma this past May. This is my first job out of college.
Cool. So we'll get started. Just run down this list here. What is your favorite part about being a manager?
So for me, I'd say it's just being able to interact with people from all different walks of life and being able to cross paths with some personalities that I necessarily wouldn't cross paths with in my normal everyday life. I think if you look at my some of the past jobs I've had just throughout my life, and it goes back to just like regular like high school summer jobs. I worked on a golf course, and one of the things I really enjoyed about that was working with different personalities that I normally wouldn't, have any interaction with. So that's definitely one of the things that I enjoy most about being a manager is just building relationships with those people, and you get some friendships out of it. So that's something that's I like.
Cool. If you had a previous boss that you did not enjoy working for, why did you feel that way? And then how does that relate to their managerial style, or like why did you not like them?
So I mean, not necessarily any boss that I've had in the past that I'd say I didn't like the way they did. I will say, just through Amazon, I've seen other managers how they work, and one thing that I've seen in some people that is a pretty big problem is they don't have any sense of urgency. They don't have any sort of sense of rush to correct mistakes or to avoid a bad thing before it happens. So I'd say a sense of urgency is definitely, I feel like, one of the pitfalls of a lot of managers.
Okay. What's the biggest challenge about your specific management job?
So I'd say the biggest challenge for me is managing so many people and trying to engage so many people. Right now I have 25 people that are under me. That's only going to keep growing. And so finding ways to engage with them and just, have just regular conversations with them, with each and every single one of them, while at the same time being able to focus on the business side and run the business, which I've been able to manage well. But as those numbers grow, that's definitely going to be something that becomes more and more difficult, is engaging each and every single one and building a strong relationship with each and every single one.
Okay. What is something you do? So you kind of mentioned how you try to talk to him, but is that what you do, or what is something else you do on a daily basis to check in with all your employees?
So at least like start of every week, I try to go around each one and ask them how their weekend was, if they did anything fun, exciting, just kind of see what kind of lifestyle they live, what they like to do outside of work. Every morning they come in, I always tell them where they're going, say good morning, how are you doing, stuff like that. But yeah, and then towards the end of the week, last day, I always say, have a good weekend, got any plans, stuff like that. So simple stuff.
Okay, just face-to-face interaction.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you assess and decide how to best motivate specific employees?
So one thing I do a lot is try to lead by example. In this situation, if people see you working hard, then a lot of times that kind of motivates them to work hard in a way. But one thing we have to do a lot is we identify low performers and try to see what it is that's causing them to be a low performer, what obstacles there are, and then my job as the manager is to try to overcome those obstacles with them, try to see what it is that's causing these obstacles and how they can overcome it.
Okay, so that kind of leads into the next question in a way. What are the qualities you find in good employees and bad employees?
So as far as good employees, the best ones are the ones that always go out and find the work themselves, rather than waiting for you to come and tell them what work needs to be done, or just waiting for the work to come to them. They actually go out and go to where the work is. Now, as far as a bad employee, I mean, I won't say anything, one specific thing that makes a bad employee. There's a lot of different qualities out there that can make someone a bad employee. But as far as in my situation where I work, the best people under me are the ones that go out and find the work. I don't have to worry about them. I don't have to move them anywhere. They know where to
babysit
work.
them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you're obviously a younger manager, very, very new. But what are some qualities that you would look for in other like younger or newer employees, being that you're already in a management position?
So one thing I always look for in a new employee, and one thing I notice a lot is if they're asking questions. Curiosity shows someone's drive to learn and drive to get better. And people who ask the most questions tend to be the ones who move up the quickest. That's something my senior manager told us on our first day. Is he got to where he is because he asked questions. That's
How old is your senior manager?
he's been at Amazon for 4 years.
Okay.
And he graduated in 2016.
Okay, so still relatively young though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he was in the military. He was in the Marines for a second, and then he went to college. So then he isn't as like young, but he is still relatively new to the workforce. So
Okay. This you might not have a lot of experience in this end, but this next question is: what is the most successful strategy that you have implemented, if you have at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still young in my career. I wouldn't say there's any one particular strategy that's kind of like that's the one. So I would say I wouldn't have one right now.
Okay. The next question I have for you is initiative and adaptive people are desired in the workplace. How can you distinguish these attributes in an interview process?
So one thing that I can look at is like their job experience, how many jobs they've been at. If there's someone who's been at one job for 10 years, I mean, I think that shows someone who's adaptable because they're at a place where they've probably seen a turnover in management. They've seen a lot of different people come through, but they've been able to adapt to the different work environment that they're in. So that's definitely one thing I look at, whether it's someone who's been at a job for one prolonged period of time, or if it's someone who's just bouncing around back and forth between jobs.
Okay. Do you notice stereotypes and prejudice around your office? And if so, how do you work to mitigate those?
I mean, I'd say there's some stereotypes about Amazon in general, just like the work environment, the work atmosphere. So I think people might have some misconceptions when they first come in as a new hire. But as far as what I do to mitigate that, I mean, there's not a whole lot I have to do because most of those preconceived notions just aren't true at all. So there's not a whole lot I have to do to mitigate that. Once they come in and see what the actual work environment is like and kind of the culture that we have, I mean, that the rest just falls in place. So
it's more of an outside to inside stereotype as opposed to like an interpersonal stereotypes inside though.
Yeah, as far as inside the actual building, there's none specifically that I would point out.
Okay. Being new as to management, is there anything that you've noticed by yourself that you can work on to become a better manager? And then do you believe you have any natural talents that made you a good manager, or did you kind of study about management and learn about it?
Well, yeah, so listening to your associates is always what's going to be most important if you want to improve as a manager. And I think that's one of the things that I'm pretty good at, is I tend to listen before I speak. And so I think that kind of helps me think things through a little bit more, maybe listen to people more. So I think that's helped me out a lot so far in these first few months or so.
Okay. How do you accommodate different communication styles in the workplace?
So there are people that I manage that are, their first language isn't English, and so there is a language barrier that you sometimes have to overcome. But I haven't had a whole lot of difficulty as far as it hasn't been a complete like stopper where it's the communication's just cut off. If there is something where we have to have like a very in-depth conversation, then I will have someone who speaks English well act as sort of a translator to help kind of mitigate those issues. But so far, I mean, I'll use hand signals to kind of make sure they understand what I'm saying. But so far, it hadn't been too big of an issue to where it's completely shut off communication. So.
Okay. And the last question that I have for you today is, what would your advice be to a new manager, or really honestly to yourself, a few months ago?
So the main thing is to always know your business, obviously, and know it to the point where you can answer any question about that business. And then the other main thing is to always be in a good mood, because that's something that rubs off onto other people. If you don't want to be at work, then the people you're managing aren't going to want to be at work. That's definitely contagious. And then one other thing I will add is, you want to create a fun atmosphere, an atmosphere that people want to go to and look forward to going to. And so I say always just anytime you can, try to joke around, goof off, have fun. That really goes a long way when you're setting the culture for your office or wherever you're working.
Cool. Well, that's all I have for you today. So thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.